Good afternoon, everybody. As most of you will know, I'm David Gilmore from DG Legal. I'm very pleased to be hosting this afternoon's webinar called The 3 Biggest Mistakes That Keep Most Lawyers from Attracting as Many Clients as They'd Like to, and How to Fix Them. Now, I've had a look at Michelle's slides. I have to say they're really good, and I'm sure they're going to hold your attention over the next hour. So I'm very pleased to introduce Michelle Peters. And now, Michelle started off in life, I believe, as a hotshot lawyer in Clifford Chance.
Matter of opinion, probably, David.
where she was very successful before deciding to set up her own business, helping smaller firms to be really successful at marketing. Now, I'm not going to go into much more detail than that because I think Michelle's going to introduce herself, but other than that, I want to say that her profile has really shot up since the pandemic, and I keep becoming aware of all of her various webinars through different social media means. So I will hand over to Michelle in just a few moments' time. But before I do that, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to everybody that's registered for this webinar. We've now just gone over the 20,000 number of people that have registered for our free webinar. So it's a huge thank you for helping to make this project a big success. Once again, the webinar is in webinar mode, not meetings mode. So that means that we can't see or hear you. So if you'd like to communicate with us during the webinar, please use the chat button to make any remarks, any comments, share any thoughts. And if you have any questions, and we sincerely hope you do have questions, please use the Q&A box. Now, we may run over a little bit of time. We're not really worried if we run over by 5 or 10 minutes, because the beauty of webinars is that if you have another appointment to go to, you can simply leave. You don't have to catch a train, etc. So that's fine. But once it gets to 10 past, if we haven't answered all of your questions, then Michelle has very kindly offered to look at those questions after this afternoon. And you will receive a copy of the Q&A after the event, and you'll also get a copy of the slides. So I think that's everything I need to cover by way of the introduction. So I'll hand over to Michelle, and thank you for taking the time out, Michelle.
Thank you, David, and thank you for inviting me to be here today. I'm really excited to be here sharing about what is my favourite topic, these 3 biggest mistakes that keep most lawyers from attracting as many clients as they'd like, and how to fix them. Got lots in store today, so I'd love to just dive in and get going, and thank you for that introduction. For everyone that's here, you are in the right place if at the moment you either don't have as many inquiries as you want, so you haven't got the quantity that you want, or you've got good quantity but you haven't got the quality that you want. In other words, you haven't got those inquiries coming in for the most profitable areas of your practice, or you're not getting the types of clients that you really enjoy working with and that you know are good for your practice and for you and your team. So today what I want to show you is a way of marketing to get more clients that's already been working for other lawyers, including during these periods of lockdown and since the pandemic, you know, what was working before and during and since we've started to come out. I want to show you what's been working for others and give you some of the strategies and tips so you can take that and start doing it yourself. A way of marketing that will help you specifically target more of your ideal clients, help those clients understand the value of your services so they'll be more prepared to pay the fees you want to charge, and ultimately get you more inquiries. You can turn them into more clients and grow your practice. And what we'll be talking about today is going to apply to any civil practice area, or also some criminal areas like white collar crime, motoring offences, things like that. So across any of those, that or civil practice areas, all of this is going to apply. Now, David very kindly said a few words of introduction. I just want to introduce myself a little bit, just to give the context of, you know, why do I know anything about this topic? Why am I even here? Why did David invite me to talk about it? So I'm Michelle Peters, the Business Instructor. That's the name of my business. And I'm the creator of the Profitable Practice Program for lawyers who want more clients and to increase their profits without working more hours. So I don't just help lawyers to attract more inquiries. I'm also helping them to secure those clients with the right conversion strategies, be more profitable in their business, and cut their working hours, because I think all three of those things are essential if you want to have this elusive freedom that lots of us dream about, but fewer people actually achieve. And having been in private practice and having worked all the hours that there were and some more on top, I'm on a mission to help more lawyers, particularly in small practices, particularly the owners of small practices, to have more of the freedom that they were dreaming of when they set up their practice or when they joined the profession. And by that, I mean freedom to work with who they want to work with, you know, the right kinds of clients, the freedom to work the hours they want, and the financial freedom that they deserve for themselves and their families in return for all that hard work, expertise, and that amount of caring that they give to clients and caring about what they do. So that's sort of where I'm coming from on this, if you like. I'm delighted to be able to say I'm the author of a #1 best-selling book, which I released in October 2019, called The Client Magnet Formula for Lawyers: How to Attract and Convert More of Your Ideal Clients. And I'll be sharing with you today some of the strategies and principles from that. But if you want more detail, you can get a free download of the first part of the book covering the attract principles from my website. I'll pop the link there on the slide for you. So if you want to, you know, read more about this topic afterwards, that's where to get more detail. I already mentioned that I'm a former practicing solicitor. I was at Magic Circle firm for 9 long years until 2004, when I left. Now, during my time as a private practice lawyer, I was an intellectual property specialist, did some litigation and some non-contentious work as well. And I loved the law. I loved intellectual property, trademarks, copyright, bit of patent work. It was great fun. What I didn't personally like was the lack of freedom that came with that role. And after 9 years, I left and went into business. Now, when I went into business, I got a really big shock, because I thought, you know, top trained lawyer, you know, they tell you that you can do anything and all of that stuff. What I discovered was I'd learned pretty much nothing at all about the important aspects of running a business. So I'd learned about being a good lawyer, but I hadn't learned about important things like getting clients, you know, good marketing. I hadn't really learned about conversion, because at the big firm I was at, people, you know, they just became clients. You didn't have to sell them in any way. I hadn't really learned anything about what makes profits in a business, as opposed to just what keeps you busy and generating fees, which is different from what actually makes profits. And it was a massive shock to me to find I didn't know anything about these, and that my training hadn't provided that. And you know, I've since then discovered that many lawyers don't get that training. I don't think my firm was special in not training. I think it's, you know, across the industry. So it wasn't until I left and went into business that I learned these skills. Marketing, conversion, making profits, understanding how to manage working hours better. And learning them in business is what inspired me to say, okay, I've had to leave the law to find out these skills. But why can't I now help people who are still within the law to learn these skills, so they can combine being a great lawyer with being a great business owner, put the two together, and be more successful in their practice. So that's really what motivated me to do what I do today. I called my business the Business Instructor, because I think of what I do as a bit like when you go to the gym and you hire a fitness instructor or a personal trainer. You tell them your goals and they give you a plan to work to, and then they show you the very best effective moves to get the results you want in the quickest time. And that's what I do, but for your business instead of for your body, and specifically for your legal business. I work with owners of small law firms, heads of departments, legal consultants, and sole practitioner lawyers. That's really all I want to say about me, apart from the fact that my approach and everything I'm going to teach you today is based on 2 things. It's based on actual results. So when I show you something or tell you something, I'll show you examples of lawyers already doing it, so you know it's not theory. And secondly, based on what feels professional. I'm still a solicitor, non-practicing these days. I take it very, it's very important to me that the marketing is professional, that the conversion techniques are professional, that everything we do maintains the professional standing that we have in our profession, and that we're not using techniques that might be suited for, window salesmen, but not suited for us. Okay, that is definitely more than enough about me. I'd much rather talk about you, and I'd specifically like to talk about what's important to you. So if you showed up to today's webinar, I'm guessing it's because there's more clients that you'd like to attract, or better quality clients, or perhaps in a different area. And I'd love to know, and it'd be great if you could put an answer to this into the chat so that I can see some of your answers. I'd like to know, who's the ideal client you'd like to attract right now, and for what kind of service? So do you want more commercial clients selling their business? Do you want more wills clients who need a will and an LPA package? Are you looking for more employer clients who go on your retainer service? I'd love to know what's the specific types of clients you'd really like more of at the moment. If I could bring you half a dozen new clients, but you had to tell me who would they be? If you can put answers into the chat, then I'd love to see what those are. Yeah, and I'll just read out a few. We've got white collar offences, or better quality family clients, private clients, family and finance work, developers, motoring, divorce clients, higher quality, commercial clients, probate, immigration and family law, professional negligence, breach of contract, civil litigation. Okay, great. Keep typing them in. I won't read them all out, but thank you for sharing. Okay, as we go through today's training, I would like you to keep in mind who you'd most like to have more clients, which sector, which service, and start thinking about applying the principles I give you to that sector, that type of client, that service. Because one tip I'll give you straight away around marketing is that the more we can think about marketing to a specific type of client to get them and get that working, the easier it is to get it working. It's a bit like saying, I want to strengthen my biceps. Okay, which moves do I need to do? And then we can come back and say, okay, now I'd like to strengthen my calves. What shall I do for that? And your calves might be a different kind of client. So let's keep this this type of client in mind as we go through today's training. It's really going to help you think in a more focused way and get better results. Okay, in terms of specifically what we're going to cover, I'm going to take you through the 3 biggest mistakes most lawyers make that stop them attracting as many new clients as they want. And obviously, we're going to talk about how to avoid them. That's the promise of today's session. Along the way, I'm going to share with you the #1 client magnet secret that will powerfully attract your ideal clients to you and away from your competitors, giving you the freedom to pick and choose the clients you want to work with. And I'll also be sharing with you 3 golden rules for avoiding these 3 mistakes we'll have talked about, and instead attracting more of your ideal clients without wasting money on marketing that doesn't work. So that's what we're going to be covering today. David already mentioned that the slides will be available at the end, as well as the recording. I've got some other resources I can share with you as well. I'll tell you about at the end to help you go a bit further if you'd like to. All right, now, before we get into the detail of these 3 biggest mistakes, I just want to position the importance of this topic within the whole sort of agenda and scope of growing your firm. So when I'm working with clients, we're always looking at the profitable practice accelerator model and how we can help lawyers achieve these freedoms I talked about at the beginning. And that's freedom to work with who you want to work with, when you want to work, and financial freedom in terms of what comes into your pocket. So to achieve these 3 freedoms, we need 3 things, 3 results. We need more ideal clients coming into your practice. We need you to have higher profits. That's the financial freedom part. And we need you to have a way to get your time back from all the things you're currently doing. And to get those results, we need to work on 3 areas of your business. The first is attract. In other words, attracting more ideal clients. And that's what I'm going to go deep into today. But it's also really important that you pay attention to your ability to convert those clients at the right fees, because just attracting gives you inquiries to deal with. It doesn't give you clients. It's conversion, also known as sales in the outside world, but let's keep with the word conversion. It's conversion of clients at the right fees is important. Then when we got those clients coming in, we've attracted and we've converted, We need to maximize the clients we have, maximize the profitability, the productivity of the team, the efficiency of the team, make sure the work is done in the right way. So all three of these are really important. Let's not lose sight of that when we focus today just on attract. Now, within attract, there are also multiple different things we can focus on. And with most firms I work with, there's three big areas, 1, 2, 3. And I want today to focus on the second one, which is called magnetize clients. How do you magnetize clients to you, or the inquiries from those clients to you, so that you can convert them? So that's just giving you the overall picture of everything that we need to be thinking about and letting you know where we're diving in deep today. Now, magnetizing clients is about attracting. This central word here is attract. And I use the word attract very specifically because we need to be mindful of the difference between attracting and hunting for clients. So I think we all know it's essential to have a flow of new inquiries coming into the business. That's not news. But most lawyers I talk to don't really like marketing or business development activities. They'd rather be doing the work. And the problem that comes up when they think about doing business development is they think of it in terms of going hunting, like networking is a hunting activity. I know that networking places will tell you it's farming, not hunting, but principally you leave your office, you lock the door, actual or virtual, you go off to an event and you're looking around to see, who can you make relationships with, how can you get clients? It's a hunting strategy. It's different from attracting. Attracting is being able to do things that mean you don't need to leave the office, but clients will come to you. So advertising is an attraction strategy. People see your advert online, in the newspaper, flyer in the post, whatever it is, and they think, oh, that looks interesting, I'll call them or I'll email them. So it's an attraction strategy. So I want to talk about how we can get better at attracting, because hunting takes up your time, takes you away from fee earning, and is not scalable. If you want to double your clients, it's very hard to double your networking or meeting with referrers because you don't have time to do it. Plus, there's probably not necessarily double the number of useful events you would go to. Okay, so the sooner you find a way to attract more of your ideal clients to you, the sooner you can start to also free up your time from very time-consuming business development activities. So think of attracting as marketing more than business development, meetings, events, and so on. Okay, question for you now. When we know that we're talking about attraction marketing, what would you say is the hardest part for you about attracting new clients? Again, can you put your comments into the chat for me? Where's the biggest challenge? What is hard about it? What makes it difficult? Is it knowing where to start? Is it getting marketing to actually work for you? Is it knowing what kind of marketing to do, who to target? What is it? Love to know what your biggest challenges are so that we can try and focus on those today. Yeah, so I'm going to read out some comments. Expectation of free advice, knowing where to start, no credibility in the market yet, letting the right people know I'm here. Yeah, exactly. Convincing them to instruct us, right? So giving them enough reason to say yes to you. Yeah, so it's visibility, having people hear the right message and having them take the next step. Yeah, what type of marketing to aim for and where to look for business. Okay. Good. Keep typing in your comments. I'll read out more as we go. But let's talk about the 3 critical parts to making attraction successful for you. Now, I'll be sharing these slides. So you don't need to write this down necessarily, but just have a look and see which of these is most important for you. So when we think about attracting more clients, the first thing we need to be really clear about is who is our market? In other words, who are the target clients that we want to focus on? Now, your firm, your practice may have a very wide range of target clients, private client, litigation, family, motoring law, all of that under one umbrella. However, when it comes to attraction marketing, we need to pick one, focus on that, do some marketing to attract them. And then once that's working, we can add on another area and another area. But if we try and market to be all things to all people at the start, what we'll find is we'll be nothing to anyone, and our marketing won't be effective. So we need to target clients. Right at the beginning of this session, I asked you to pick one that you particularly like to get more of: motoring clients, family law, divorce, high value divorces. So pick one and let's create the marketing for that. The second thing we then need to do is to make sure that we have the right message for that market. So if we have the right message that attracts that market to us, gets them to pick up the phone, send us an email, come into our office, then we're going to have some success in getting inquiries. So we need to have the right market, the right message. And then thirdly, we need to use the right method. And by method, I mean the type of marketing. You know, is it social media? Is it a webinar? Is it writing out to past clients? What's the method we should use? And I'm going to talk in more detail today about all three of these. But when you get all three of these right, you have the maximum opportunity for that inquiry to convert. You're most likely to get conversions because target the high quality, high value clients that you really want with the right message that attracts them, using the right method that actually works, that they actually see. You could have a brilliant message, but it's not in the right place for your ideal clients to see it. It's not going to do you any good. So these three are all important. And again, question for you is to think, which of these three do you most need to improve right now? Is it the market, which is the targeting? Is it the message, which is the content of what you say in your marketing? Or is it the method, the place and the style of marketing that you're doing? Where do you think is your biggest problem right now? Type into the chat. Let's see what, you know, if more people are on one side, we can spend a little bit more on that. More people on another side, we can spend more on that. So let's just have a look at the chat. All right, some people saying market, some people saying method. Yep, some people saying message. Okay, there's a mix. Not surprisingly, I suppose, with so many people here, that we're going to get quite a mix between them. Okay, as we go through the rest of the content today, I'll be letting you know which bits of the tips I'm be giving you help you with market, which help you with message, and which help you with method, so you can hone in on the ones that are most important to you. So keep this in mind as we go through. All right. Good. Let's talk about the three biggest mistakes. So for each of these, have a think about whether you think you're making this mistake or not, because I'll be sharing how to fix it and you want to listen out specifically for that. So mistake number one in marketing that I see for a large majority of lawyers is not standing out. And this is a message problem, right? The message is not really any different from your competitors or all the other lawyers out there, or even a lot of the other professionals out there. You know, we're probably competing a little bit for bandwidth in the client's mind with, you know, other advisors like accountants or, you know, financial advisors and so on. So what stops people from standing out is often that they are reticent to want to actually stand out. So the message they use is very conservative with a small c. In other words, they don't want to really say anything that's too loud, too shouting. They don't really, it might not be professional. And so one of the things that stops them standing out, and there are 3 C's, I'm going to give you the 3 C's, but one of the C's is caution. Caution, we're too cautious. We're not really sure what works. So we just sort of quietly say, look, if you want help with any of these areas of law, we're here. Here's our details. You know, it's our name, it's our picture of our team. Here are our details, get in touch. We're very cautious in our approach, and therefore we don't stand out from our competitors, who are also all very cautious. So the content of the message, you know, caution causes it to be a rather bland message. Add to that, we've got another C standing in the way, which is competition. Everyone else is saying the same kind of message. You know, social media posts or website content, it's all the same. You know, this is what we do. If you need it, get in touch. Fundamentally, that's how most marketing goes. So that's a challenge. And then on top of that, we got another C problem, which is clutter. We are all bombarded by marketing on our Facebook feeds, in our inbox, you know, if we're walking around, billboards, sides of buses, whatever. There's marketing everywhere. And there's so much clutter, we get so much that if we don't stand out in some way, we just don't get noticed. So 3 C's get in the way of us not standing out: caution in our message, competition, and clutter. What about you? Which of the 3 C's is your biggest challenge, would you say? Is it clutter? Is it competition? Or is it caution? What's your biggest nemesis, do you think, that's stopping you standing out with your marketing? Again, you can type into the chat, let me know. For many people, it's probably all 3. Yeah, lots of people putting in caution. That's good in the sense that you're acknowledging that you're cautious and not wanting to stand out and probably doing the same as everyone else. So that's really good to see that there's that awareness that if you want your marketing to be more effective, you need to avoid this mistake, which includes not standing out due to caution and having the same message as your competition. Okay, so that's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is only marketing to those who are looking to buy your services now. So this is a market issue. This is who you're targeting. Who's your ideal market? So in most cases, what happens with most law firm marketing is, I mentioned, it's this sort of here I am style of marketing. You know, this is what we do, this is who we are, this is how to contact us. It's just saying, here I am. If you already know you want to write a will today, if you already know you need a lawyer to help you sell your business, if you already know you're an employee with a dispute against your employer, or you already know that you're up in court for maybe lose your license for a motoring offence, here we are. Come and talk to us. We're the best, fastest, quickest, hopefully not cheapest, but you know what I mean. Now that's here I am marketing. Now there's a big problem with here I am marketing if this is what you're doing. Here I am marketing is only of interest to the people who've decided today that they're going to look for a lawyer to help them. You know, they're looking online, they're asking for referrals from their friends, maybe they're looking at a directory, but they actually decided they want help. And that's okay. Obviously, you want to get in front of those people, but so do all of your competitors. There's a lot of competition amongst those. And again, if we don't stand out, it's hard to make any progress and get our inquiries coming in. So the mistake, though, is only marketing to those people and forgetting about all the other people who maybe need your help, but aren't looking today. Why aren't they looking today? Well, for some of them, it's because they think they don't need your help yet. Maybe they need a lasting power of attorney, but they think it's only relevant to them once they get over the age of 70, when dementia could be, coming into view for them, which is not true. It's not the only reason to have a lasting power of attorney. Or they think, I'm selling my business, but right now I can negotiate the terms and conditions with the other side, do some heads of terms, that'll all be fine. I'll give it to the lawyers later to draft the contract. If you're a commercial lawyer, I'm sure your heart has sunk many times when you see badly agreed heads of terms and wish that you've been involved at an earlier stage. But your client didn't know that getting you involved earlier would actually mean they're more likely to get the protections they need or the assurances they need when they are selling their business or buying a business from someone else. So if we've got clients who don't know they need your help at all, perhaps they don't even know it's ever worth getting advice when asked to go, when responding to an enforcement notice from a regulator, for example, they don't know they should get advice at that stage. Or you do something where they think they just can get advice later in life and get your help later. Then if we just market to those looking to buy now, we're only marketing to a small percentage. Now, what percentage are you marketing to with Here I Am marketing? Well, this is an average, and let's assume this is wills, okay? Because I think it's an example we can all relate to, whether we're a will lawyer or not. Out of 100 people needing a will, in other words, don't have a will and need one, probably 3%, this tiny slither here in green, 3% are actively looking for a wills lawyer now, or maybe a will writer, maybe not even a will lawyer. Another small percentage of them, 7% here, are probably open to getting a will done pretty soon, but they're not actually looking today. If they saw a good piece of marketing from you, maybe if they met you at networking and they particularly liked you, they might sort of say, right, I'll get on and do it. That's still only 10%. This is 10% in total. It's a very small number. We got another 30%, the orange here, are aware they'll need it sometime later. I'll need a will once I get married and have children. I'll need an LPA once I'm over 70 or 80. I'll need to call in the lawyers to help me with this deal once I get to this stage past the negotiations, and so on. Those people are aware they might need you in the future, but they're not looking now. And if you just say, we help entrepreneurs sell their business, they won't respond because they think they don't need you yet. If you say we do LPAs, they won't respond because they think they don't need you yet. Okay, so traditional marketing does not tap into them. However, if our marketing educated them about why they shouldn't wait to do an LPA, or why you'll get a better deal on your business sale if you get the lawyer involved at the beginning, then we could persuade them that they should be getting your help now. So we can do something about these 30% aware but not looking by giving them the right kind of marketing, educating them about why they need it now. Okay, so that's 30% who are aware. Then we got 30% who are unaware they even need your help. Let's keep with the wills example. Someone who's got married since they did their last will and doesn't realize that their marriage is likely to have revoked their will. So they think, that's fine, the will was already in place, I don't need one. No matter how many times they hear you saying, we do wills, they'll never respond. If you wrote to them about the dangers of not doing, you did marketing on the dangers of not updating your will or doing a new will once you're married, and explain the situation to them, you could convert them from being unaware they even need help into not only aware, but hopefully actively looking for help now. And finally, we've got 30% of people who will just decide or no, they don't, they're not in the right area for you, they don't like the fees you charge, or maybe they don't like you, because we do business with people we know, like, and trust, and not everyone can like everyone. We can afford to ignore those 30% because instead of marketing to 3%, why don't we market to the full 70% of people that we could help? Now, is this making sense? Can you just type in a yes for me if this is making sense in terms of the principle of most marketing is only targeting 3% of people who are looking right now, and that we've got another 67% of people who, with the right kind of educational content, could start to understand why they need your help and go from these other categories into actively looking? Yes, lots of people typing in yes. Thank you for doing that, letting me know that this is making sense to you. It's a really important and critical point to changing your marketing. Okay, so if you're currently marketing to only 3%, then you're making this mistake of only marketing to the people ready to buy now, which is small. Your percentage might be more than 3, it might be 5, it might be 7, it might be 10, but it's still small. All right, that's mistake number 2. Now, mistake number 3 is not using marketing to start a relationship. And this is a method problem. So, for example, if we just do a social media post about something, or we just put an advert in the newspaper, local newspaper, or distribute some leaflets, we're just pushing marketing out there, but we have no way of knowing who reads it, who's interested, who is in meaning to follow up with us but forgets and gets too busy. We can't follow up. The relationship ends. We push out some content and we have no way of continuing a relationship with anyone that read it because we don't know who they are or how to contact them. Social media might be slightly different in the sense that if they like it, maybe we could message them. But a lot of people just read it, not even like it. You don't know who's read it. You can't follow up. So this is a method problem. We're not using the right kind of marketing that allows us to start an ongoing relationship with people who might be interested in our services before they're even ready to inquire. Okay, once they inquire, obviously they give us their contact details. We can stay in touch even if they're not ready to move forward. But I'm talking about before they even inquire, when they're thinking, I'm a bit interested in that, maybe next week, maybe next month, but they haven't rung our firm or emailed us. So what can we do to use, we need to think about what can we do to use a marketing method that allows us to start an ongoing relationship? Because if we don't, we push out stuff, we have no idea who's interested, and we just have to keep pushing out more stuff, and hoping that people will respond in their own time. We can't follow up with the people who are showing some interest. Now, just to give you an example, of marketing that overcomes this problem. I'll come back to this in a little bit. But if you, for example, run a seminar or a webinar and you ask people to give you their details in order to receive the information on how to join you, you're collecting their contact details. They're coming to an event. You get a chance to educate them about why they should do that LPA now, or why they should get lawyers involved even before they agree heads of terms. And because you've got their details, you can follow up with them, continuing to send them useful information, reminders of how you can help, reminders of examples of where other people have gone wrong without getting help, by not getting help soon enough. And you can help nurture them until they're ready to do business with you. But most marketing that we use is not like that. It doesn't enable us to start any ongoing relationship. So if we don't start an ongoing relationship, that's a mistake. And it also causes marketing to be more expensive. We have to keep pushing out marketing. Whereas once we've got someone's contact details, marketing to them is free. It's called email or letter, or potentially phone if you have their phone number. Phone is virtually free. Letters cost a few pence. Well, Royal Mail's gone up a bit, hasn't it? But still, it's cheap compared to having an advert in the local paper or spending a lot on pay-per-click marketing. So we've talked about three mistakes that stop you getting as many clients as you want. And my question for you, and answers into the chat, please, is which of these three mistakes are you making, and what's the effect for you? How's it impacting you? A reminder, the three mistakes are: number one, not standing out, which is a message mistake. Number two, only marketing to those looking to buy now, which is a market mistake, who you're marketing to. And number three, not using marketing to start a relationship, which is a method challenge, not using the right kind of method of marketing to be able to get contact details. Yeah, someone's typed in all three, and that might be the case for quite a few people. But if there's one, yeah, okay, quite a lot of people typing in all three, probably all three. Okay. Someone said, can I put up 3 on the slide? That one, that number 3. So yeah, okay, a lot of people saying 3. So that was number 3. Someone asked to see number 2 again. That was number 2, only marketing to those looking to buy now. And number 1, not standing out. These will all be in the slides that you'll get afterwards. So I can see a lot of people putting in all 3, some of you picking out a particular one. Okay, I mean, it's bad news if you're making these mistakes in the sense that it's making life more difficult for you. The good news is there's something you can do about it. If you know it's a mistake, you can fix it. So let's move on to talking about that. So what we're looking for in an ideal world for you is that, you know, you go into work in the morning and you find your inbox has had messages overnight or early in the morning from prospective clients wanting to meet you. During the day, the phone is ringing with prospective clients wanting to talk to you, and they're good prospective clients, you know, the ones that your heart doesn't sink when you hear from them, but actually you feel happy. If you have an office with a walk-in, you know, clients can walk in, they're walking in, they're asking for appointments. This is what we want in an ideal world. You know, this is what we want to be able to have this freedom to work with the clients we want to work with. If this is what you want, then it's time for a different kind of marketing from what you've probably been doing so far. So there's 2 types of marketing. And on the left-hand side here, represented by my sale image, is selling-based marketing. So selling-based marketing really delivers a sales message. It says, here I am, this is what I do, contact me if you need help. And the problem with this kind of marketing is it positions you as a seller. And generally, most people try to avoid being sold to unless they're already looking to buy. So the 3% who are interested in your sales message potentially if it stands out, and the other 67% of potential clients generally not interested. And it's not nice actually to be feeling like you're on a sales message. We're not salespeople. It's not why we became lawyers, and most of us feel uncomfortable with sales. So that's one type. The next type is education-based marketing. And education-based marketing is where instead of telling people, here I am with my stuff, You say, here's why you need help. Here are the problems you might be facing in your situation. Here's why an LPA is relevant for you, even if you're under 40, fit and healthy, for example. And if we can educate clients about why they need help, then instead of pushing a sales message on them, we draw them to us because they think, oh yes, okay, I do want that, let's talk. So education-based marketing is what we want. Now, education-based marketing is an informational but educational message, can take many forms. It could be an article, a report, a seminar, a webinar, a video, a guide that you give away, a full book if you write one, but I don't recommend spending time on a full book. And the benefits of education-based marketing are that most professionals, including lawyers, are only marketing to that 3%, but using education-based marketing, you can reach up to 70%. The ones who are aware, the ones who are even unaware, can be motivated to become now buyers. And done correctly, education-based marketing also has these benefits. It gives value, which builds trust and starts a relationship, which attracts the clients to you. It helps you stand out from the crowd because it's not just that sales message, here I am, that your competitors are doing. It educates more potential clients about why they need your services and the value of your help. It positions you as an expert on this topic, not a seller, and helps them see why they should choose you. And your education-based marketing can work hard for you whilst you're busy helping your clients. In other words, it doesn't require you to be doing all the work because the content of your guide, video, webinar, seminar does the work for you. And education-based marketing is often in the form of a guide or a report, because then you don't even have to be there delivering the seminar or the webinar, and these are just examples of a couple of my guides. So, question for you to think about is, what difference would it make if you could use effective education-based marketing in your marketing process? How would you be better off if you were targeting 70% of your clients, potential clients, rather than 3%? How would you be better off in terms of your positioning, in terms of how it feels? Because if, from what I've said so far, you're already thinking, I want to use education-based marketing, then what we need to make sure is that you get it right, that you do it the right way. What we don't want is that you put all this effort into creating guides or reports or even webinars or seminars and find that despite all the effort that you put in, nothing happens. No clients call or email, and you're fed up because you put a lot of work in, but somehow it just didn't go right. So what I'm going to give you now is draw together everything we've talked about so far today into 3 golden rules that I want you to take away if you've decided you're going to use education-based marketing. By the way, before I do that, who has decided they're going to commit to doing more education-based marketing to get clients? Could you type in, me, type in a me if that's you, as it were. All right, me's, yeses. Okay, good. So these 3 golden rules are really going to help you. And it's going to pick up on things I've already said, draw them into a central thread for you. So golden rule number 1 is to educate the right people about the right things. So this means picking a specific market. So under 40s who don't have an LPA, or people who've been charged with a motoring offence, or employees with a settlement agreement that they need to sort out. Target a particular market and make sure you give them the right message, right? A message to educate them about why they need help. Why, if they're only in the aware category or even the unaware category, why they should be actively looking to get your help at the moment. When you do that, you can make your marketing effective. Now, let me just give you an example of how this can work. So what we need to do is obviously pick a target market and have the right message that's interesting to them, that gets their attention, that makes them want to read it. And one of my clients, Stephen, he's a partner at Keystone Law based in the Isle of Man. And when he came to me, he said, at the moment, I have to travel internationally, sit down with businesses and explain to them why bringing their businesses offshore to the Isle of Man is the best option for them. And then I help them do all the setup. He's a commercial lawyer. And he said, and that's very time consuming and it takes me away from my family. And at the time, he didn't even know that with COVID coming, it wasn't going to be possible to even do that traveling. So he said, I need a way to have marketing that replicates me going out, spreading this message person to person, meeting to meeting, that can do it for me while I stay at home. So what we did was we created a client magnet guide. So a guide being, you know, something like I showed you before, like a PDF type report. You can print them if you want, or just have it in PDF format. And his guide was all about how you'll save tax and other benefits of setting up offshore, and particularly in the Isle of Man. Now, he created this guide. It was interesting to his audience, who are entrepreneurs, running businesses, who are always interested in saving tax and having other financial benefits. Created the guide, and he used his network of contacts and referrers to push out the message that he'd written this guide, and it was available to download from his website. And because he targeted a specific market with the right message that they were interested in, and a message that also helped him educate them about why they should choose him and the Isle of Man, not go to the Cayman Islands or Jersey, for example. The results were that within 2 weeks of publishing this guide, he had 300 downloads of his guide, and he had no prior marketing experience when he did this. Obviously got my help to do it, but no prior experience to that. And he also secured £50,000 in new instructions in that first 2 weeks. Now, that meant that some of the 200-300 downloads, or at least one of them, went ahead straight away. It was one instruction of 50,000, I believe. And then he had a pipeline of people to follow up with, because he had their email address, because they downloaded the guide, which meant they had to put in their email. He had 300 people to follow up with, all of whom were potentially interested in setting up their business in the Isle of Man. So can you see how this works? If you target the right market with the right message, get them interested in your topic, but have a chance to educate them about why they should use your services, you start to attract the right kind of business, where those people probably weren't searching for Isle of Man lawyer for offshore today. All right, that's golden rule number 1. Golden rule number 2 is that when we think about creating this education-based marketing, we need to give the right amount of value. So this is the content of the message. It can't just be a sales pitch about why they need you. On the other hand, if we give too much value, too much how to do things on your own, like 5 steps to getting divorced, for example, lets people think that they can read the 5 steps to getting divorced and then go and do it on their own. So too much value can actually push away clients. And you might have felt this in consultations that you've done. You've given clients a lot of information, free advice, and then you get the feeling that they think they can now do it on their own. So off they go, and you don't hear back from them. So we need to give the right amount of value. How-to guides can be dangerous because they potentially give the wrong message, but guides that are more about mistakes, pitfalls, or how to avoid problems tend to be a better opportunity for you to position the need for your expert help to actually avoid those problems or avoid those pitfalls. So what we don't want to do is give too much, and we certainly don't want to drown our prospective clients in too much information that just makes it overwhelming for them. We want to give the right information that helps them see why they need us. So just to give you another example, Andrew, a specialist commercial lawyer that I worked with, was providing lots of how-to information and guides on his website. People were reading the information. He's lots of visitors, but they weren't inquiring about his services. And the challenge was that his content was more how-to and not so much why you need me. So we went back and we changed the existing articles, didn't write any new ones, just recrafted them to be more about, this is what you need, but here's where it can go wrong, and this is where it's important to get advice, and this is a tricky point, and be careful over here. And if you need help with this, now get in touch. And the results for Andrew were that his firm had a 30% increase in inquiries over a 6-month period without doing any additional marketing. So he just, from the articles that he'd already written, but now adapted and improved. And not only did 30% more become inquire, but 36% more became clients. In other words, better inquiries came through as a result. So it's about giving the right kind of information, getting the right balance of value. That is golden rule number 2. And then finally, golden rule number 3 to make this work is to start an ongoing relationship with your marketing method. So instead of just articles on the website or social media posts, what we want to do is encourage people to come and get our guide that they can download, or come and register for our webinar, or come and download our video, but give us their email address first. Now, video is a little bit harder to get email for. Webinar is easier. Written guides that look like mini books are very effective. If we put our information into that wrapper, which I call a client magnet, it's a thing that will draw the clients to you, then people will give you their email address. You can stay in touch with them. And like with Stephen, some of them are ready to do business right now. That was his £50,000 in new business. And the other 299 downloaders are thinking about doing business with him in the coming weeks, months, or maybe even years. But that's okay. He's building a pipeline, and he can stay in touch and nurture those people until they're ready to take the next step. So another example of doing this was Jonty, who runs a firm in Wales, North Wales. And during lockdown, he decided to write a guide specifically on how tenants could resist landlords trying to enforce rent arrears or evict them. And as a result of writing the right kind of guide with the right kind of content, which was exchangeable for an email address, he had a 1,500% increase in inquiries from tenants because he offered the right kind of guide. And you'll see, he says the fees generated became the foundation of his firm's turnover during lockdown. So the right kind of guide will attract the right people and motivate them to work with you and provide you with a pipeline. So it's all about this client magnet approach. What kind of guide or report, possibly webinar or seminar, but I recommend you start with a guide or report. What kind of guide or report can you write to attract your clients, and what does the content need to be? Okay, so at this point, you have a choice. You have a choice to carry on doing what you've been doing with your marketing, or change to using this new strategy of education-based marketing with, specifically, I recommend a client magnet guide so that you can get the right kind of inquiries that are more likely to convert without you having to go out networking, having meetings, finding people, talking to them face to face. Let the guide do the talking for you while you're busy doing everything else that you need to do. Now, some of you already typed in a yes or a me to my question of whether you were going to commit to using this strategy going forward. So for those of you who have, or for those of you who may be just thinking about it at this stage, I just want to let you know about a couple of extra resources I have to help you if you want to go on this journey. Because today is obviously a whistle-stop tour. You can probably tell I could talk all day on this topic, but I don't have that luxury today. So let me tell you about a couple of resources. The first resource for you is my Client Magnet Formula book, which talks in more detail about getting a client magnet in place and how to use it. And you can download free chapters of the book, the Attract part of the book, at thebusinessinstructor.com/book-chapters. So that'll just enable you to get the first 4 chapters. If you like a paperback, you can buy it on Amazon, but I would get the first 4 chapters for free first. Check you like it, my style and everything, and then get the whole book if you'd like to. But those chapters are specifically on Attract, and that's going to help you take what we talked about today and have more time to go over it at your leisure. If you download the book chapters, the free chapters, I'll also send you a set of worksheets that go with the book to help you go through it and get, real results. So if you like that, there's a copy available for you, and we can perhaps put the link in the chat for people to be able to click on it, and I know it'll come out in the follow-up as well. If you would like some more hands-on help than this, than the book, because obviously a book is impersonal in a sense, it's not me working with you, but if you would like a bit more help, then we have another option where you can come to one of my workshops, online workshops, and we can actually work together on identifying what should the topic of your client magnet be to attract your ideal clients. And you can get feedback from me and we can work on it together. This is a workshop that I run every 6 weeks or so, and I agreed with David and the team at DG Legal that I offer a special rate for anyone who's been at this webinar who would like to come and get a little bit more help at this workshop. So the workshop itself, a one-day workshop, is an opportunity to get some more help working specifically on what sort of client magnet topic would work to attract your ideal clients. We'll also have a chance to work on some conversion skills to help you convert the leads, inquiries that would come from these inquiries that you get from your magnet. And we can also work together on how to make the most of each client you get so that you can have a more profitable practice. And also combine all that together into making a profitable practice plan for your business for further growth. So this would be a way that you could get some help from me if you'd like, in a more hands-on. It's a small workshop, maximum 16 firms can attend, and we can work on all of the areas of attract, convert, and maximize, including what we talked about today, magnetizing clients, including neutralizing price resistance in potential new clients so they pay your fees, and including mining the client gold. Now, let me just give you a few quick details about the workshop. So you've got the details, and then I'm going to do any Q&A that's coming through. So next workshop's coming up. They're online, either the 15th to the 16th of September, which is over 2 mornings, so 2 half days, or a single day on the 6th of October. And 2 options for you. The investment normally to come to the workshop is £247 plus VAT, so it's not a big price for a full day's event, but 50% discount for any webinar attendees or people watching the recording afterwards when you use code DG50. So that will get you a discount on a standard ticket, just to make it, just easier to come along and get the help. And we've got a link specifically for you to register for that. One thing I just want to say is if you are going to register for the workshop, some people find it difficult to know where to put the code. You need to look for where it says enter promo code, where I've got my big red arrow on the Eventbrite page. That's what will enable you to get the discount. So if you'd like to get more help, I'd love to see you at the workshop. First step for many people will be download the book. And right now, I'd love to answer any questions that you've got about getting help with client magnets, about topics, about how to use them. And let me just check in. David, how are we doing on time? Have we got time for a few questions that I can answer now? And I'm happy to answer any others in writing afterwards.
Yeah, of course you have. I mean, I think you've got the world record for a number of people in the chat box. So congratulations on that. And congratulations on a very useful seminar. I don't think there's anything in the Q&A box. So if anyone's got any questions, we can spend just a few minutes on any questions before we wrap up. So I'll just wait to see if anybody wants to. I think
I saw a question in the chat just a little bit ago, which was something about how do you get people's email addresses? Oh yes, Sabina asked, how do you capture client emails? I'll answer that question while we wait for any others to get typed in. So the answer for that is what you want to do is, instead of having your guide just available where someone clicks and downloads it, what we want, and I can show you a real life example, is a page. And look, here's the 4 free chapters. This is a client magnet in itself. I mean, I'm totally transparent about that. This in itself is a version of a client magnet. I'm giving away some chapters of a book which educate people why they need to create a client magnet, which is obviously what I help with. When people come to this page and would like a copy of the book, they'll click the button, a little box pops up, they put their name and email in, and then we email it to them. So it's a very simple way to get their email address, just as you would if they're registering for a webinar or a seminar. You get their email address. Once they've put it in, you email it to them. Now you have their email address, and you can follow up with, did you get the book? Would you like to come to this training I'm running, or would you like to talk to me about one-on-one help? You can take the next step. So that's how to get email addresses. And the secret is we must put the guide into, let's just go back to the slides. We must put the guide into something which is looks valuable enough that people will give their email address. They won't give it for an article on a website. They will give it for a PDF, mini ebook, longer book. So it needs to be valuable enough that they will trade. Great, so that was that question.
Michelle, may I just add something to that? I think in terms of one of the reasons why we do free webinars, because I'm often asked the question, what on earth are you doing free webinars for? What do you get out of it? Well, it does increase the profile. It's a bit like some of the points Michelle's been making. It is part and parcel of marketing. And in relation to email addresses, when people sign up to get something which is genuinely worth something, then of course in exchange we get that email address, which means that we can use that email address to publicize other webinars and potentially other services that our potential clients might be interested in. And the same lesson, I think, relates to you.
Yes.
And just one final point on that. Michelle, you earlier talked about mistake number 2, only marketing to those looking to buy. Well, one of the mistakes that I think other training organizations do, particularly the some of the rep bodies, is they worry too much about targeting the webinars to a particular audience. They think, right, this must only go to family lawyers and family lawyers alone. And they kind of wonder, well, why do we get so many people and they don't? Well, it's because we don't worry about segmentation too much, but we don't assume that somebody won't be interested. Maybe they've got an interest in family that we weren't aware of. Maybe they'll send it off to somebody else. So sometimes I think people can overcomplicate marketing, and it might not be as difficult as some think it is. Yes,
agreed. And often it's worrying too much about the details stops us doing it in the first place. But the key with marketing is to do it. The more we do, the more opportunities we create. And yes, and I mean, you as an organization do a great job of education-based marketing, and the client magnet strategy, you're doing it in the webinar format, getting people to register, growing your list of people that you can be in touch with and offering them the right thing at the right time to help them. So it's a great strategy. Yeah, great. There's a couple of other questions. Have I got time to answer them, do you think, David?
Yeah, it's 3 minutes past. So I said, as long as we don't go past 10 minutes past, that's all right. Fine.
I'll answer questions. If anyone doesn't have time to stay for the questions, we won't take it personally. If you hop off, we totally understand and respect your time. But one question, do you need their consent to further market to them for GDPR? Okay, firstly, big disclaimer, I'm no longer a practicing lawyer and I'm not insured to give you legal advice. You'll have to take your own. But here's what I do to give you be a bit more practical. What I do is when people click this box, they see at the bottom a little privacy information and a link to the privacy policy. And in that, I tell them that I will be sending them further information relating to the book and the topic they've asked for. This is not, my understanding is this is not consent for the purposes of GDPR. I am instead relying on legitimate business purposes to follow up with them. They asked me for the book, they want to know about marketing, and so I will continue to send them information about that, obviously with an unsubscribe link in every email. I think if you expect people to tick a box to consent to more, you're going to trash your ability to use this strategy effectively, and I've seen people sadly lose a lot of marketing opportunity by doing that. That's my personal view, as again, not legal advice. You'll understand why. One more question. Can I give an example of how to attract future litigation clients? Yeah, litigation is challenging. And what I do when I'm working with litigation lawyers is we look at, in many cases, what are the more non-contentious areas you can attract clients for. That means they're already your client by the time they need litigation help. So if you're a commercial contracts lawyer, you do commercial litigation, commercial contract litigation, can you get them to come to you for advice on how they can improve their contracts to avoid disputes, and then they already know that you are the person that knows all about how to avoid disputes or resolve a dispute when it comes up. So quite often marketing the non-contentious market, do the non-contentious services you provide is an easier way to get on the books with that client before the litigation comes up. There are some other strategies as well, but that's the first one I normally recommend. Good. Any other questions? Have I missed any? Esther says, how do you target a specific market? The answer is pick one, choose who they are, understand what is it they need to understand to be motivated to work with you, and then work out how to find them. Where do they hang out? Can you get a list of them? Are they in a Facebook group? Can you target them with Facebook ads? Are they searching online for, cheap divorce options? Not that you want to be cheap, but, quick divorce options. can you show up with pay-per-click when they search that? You need to look at where are they and what's their behavior and how can you get in front of them. That's what all marketing is about. All good marketing is based on that. All right, I think I've answered everything I can see at the moment. David, happy to answer any other questions that people send in the written Q&A, as you said at the start. Oh, David, you're muted. Most common phrase ever on Zoom.
I know. You think I'd have learned by now.
Happens to all.
That was a really amazing webinar. I think it was full of good advice there, lots of good pointers, and I think I'm going to watch the recording, just watch it again in case I missed anything, because there was just a lot packed into that hour. So,
yes,
so well
I
done.
squeezed a lot in. I hope it wasn't overload, but I wanted to give as much value as I could in the time.
No, you absolutely delivered on that. So thanks very much. I'm going to finish by saying thanks again for joining the webinar. And in a moment's time, after we press the end button, you'll get an email from us asking you to rate the webinar, and we would really appreciate some comments. It's the comments that motivate us to do more of these free webinars. I think that's particularly important with this one. If you want to hear more from Michelle, then we're much more likely to do it if you're kind enough to leave a few comments in the Google review. Okay, so thank you very much. Have a lovely afternoon, and we'll see you again soon. And we're seeing a lot of kind comments coming in through the chat. So thanks again for that. We really, really appreciate it. So see you next time.
Yes, thanks everyone.
Bye.